Hail the Aesir, hail the gods. An offering of mead to you. So everyone, today I have been feeling a lack of energy. I've been feeling a lack of spiritual stability, even a wavering in my very being. And when I woke up, I literally felt sick. Now there was a draw of energy out of my body. There was a problem within myself. And as the day progressed, it was very hard to go to work and all that. But when I came home, I lit my candles for the gods, I burned frankincense, and I brought myself back to a central focusing point. I was able to think of some options, and I feel a lot better now after having studied the runes, random runes actually, runic combinations, for some time, for the last couple hours, 2 or 3 hours. Now, these are some runic sigils and most of them are Elder Futhark, but these are some runic sigils that I think would be useful for anybody. These runic sigils can be applied to a number of instances, even the ones that seem specific. Now, as an individual who is very close to the runes, very close I consider myself close to the gods, but very close to the nature of the runes in relation to reality, how they shape and form the fabric upon which we live, upon which we exist, upon which we think. I've been working with the runes for a long time, specifically the Elder Futhark, but needless to say, to give a brief description would be they are primordial spirits that create the fabric of reality. So there's some basic ones and some complicated ones here that I think that are very interesting and very beneficial that I looked up online, and I think that they would actually be useful, though I haven't employed them yet. Now, each one of these sigils, or rune words, if you will, you can either meditate upon them, focus on them, or cast them as far as combining your own rune set. Like I have my own rune set that I made. You can combine them on the floor, on your tablecloth, what have you, or you can write them in your own blood, you can paint them, and then you can hang them up in your house, in particular parts of your house where you think they would be most beneficial. So the one that I'd like to start with is Sigil for Guidance on Your Path. Now this particular rune word, and sigil, whatever you want to say, this one I think really helps you bring your focus to the very center of this sigil. Now the very center of this, there's obviously the partnership rune, which is Gebo. There is the rune for warriorship or slash kinaz, depending on how you understand this sigil. There is multiple runes for partnership, but really all the focus of these efforts are one pointed. And as you focus on the center of this sigil, you start to feel, if you do it for long enough, you start to feel a little bit of activity right in the center of your forehead between your eyebrows. That means that it's very good at bringing your focus down to the purpose of it. And the purpose is, of course, Sigil for Guidance on Your Path. So despite it being fairly odd in the sense that it has a circle in the middle, usually runic sigils or rune words do not have circles in the middle because circles are just not a part of the Elder Futhark. But if they do, they need to be effective like this one is. Now, the next one that I want to talk about is the rune word or sigil for protection. Now, this one is obviously 2 Kinaz runes and 2 Algiz runes, and the 2 Kinaz runes are facing each other, which means an opening within, and the Algiz runes are the protection runes both down and up. So you're opening the possibility for protection within yourself, and this will bring protection to you. You can also look at it as it being Isa, which is the rune that looks just like a line, and the breaking of that with the X's on either side, breaking that torpor, that station, that ice, both above and below, and creating the possibility for opening and the possibility for protection from outages. This last basic one in this row is for good luck. Now this is obviously a rune, a Gebo for partnership, which can mean spiritual partnership or in spiritual partnership with purpose. And then you have Ansus on it. And this is employed in the sense that you are calling upon the gods and creating a partnership that will benefit you. So this is a rune word for good luck. Now, before I go into the more complicated ones, I want to say that I will be painting this rune word to provide myself with healing. And I'll be using red paint. You usually want to use red paint or your blood or red ink, because that is the power, the intimacy of the runes. They are in your blood, and the color red actually brings out a reaction of intensity, of power within us. So this one is the rune Berkana, or growth, which is kind of like a bee, two mountains or two breasts, if you will. It's a very feminine rune, Berkana, and it's very basic, but it seems like it could be kinaz, which is opening, which is the torch, lighting the path for growth. So you see how to grow, and the path to growth is open to you. So it makes sense that this would be for healing. You might also want to understand it as algiz, which is the rune for protection. A lot of people take it as a rune for protection with the rune Berkana, which means you are protected and you are growing in that protection. So that provides healing. Now, these two runic sigils are very complicated. I don't want to go into every single possible Elder Futhark definition for every single rune in these, but I wanted to share them because they're so complicated and they're so powerful to me. I don't know if my interpretation would be the same as a lot of people's, but I see so many potentially awesome runic combinations in these that I can't imagine that they wouldn't do something for you. Now, the first one is Fahabar. Now, this one communicates and stands for and calls upon this definition. Arise in fire, be through hail, pass on in birch, reborn on pyre. Strengthens the soul of the dead hero to pass to Valhalla or return. Now, in this definition, which is just one that I found online, and like this sigil, I just found it online, we see that reincarnation is understood, and in Asatru and other pagan forms of worshiping the grander whole, or the gods, or the spirits, or working with them, rather, if you want to put it that way. There is an understanding that we are reborn until we perfect ourselves, until we work with the gods or spirits long enough to actually reach a higher state, a higher level of consciousness that puts us in a higher dimension or a higher form of existence. We return here again and again, reborn like the phoenix again and again and again. So this acknowledges this in the sense that it strengthens the soul of the dead here to pass to Valhalla or return. Either you get to that state or you return here to continue your work. So I absolutely love this runic sigil, and once again, it's Fahabar. That's the name of it. Similar to Vegvisir or runic sigils that are so prominent that they have their own names for them, or the Helm of Awe as well. Now, this runic sigil, and very complicated rune word, you could call it a rune paragraph, I guess. No, don't call it that. But it's Aryakara Asha Wid. Noble action. God path, raises Asa consciousness. Now, raising Asa consciousness, Asa means Asir, God consciousness. So the gods, the consciousness that the level that they are on, this runic sigil or complicated rune word helps you get towards that level if you focus on it, if you draw it, if you hang it in your house, if you meditate upon it, just look upon it and try to understand the relationship between these different runes. Then this will promote God consciousness in your mind. And I thought this one was particularly interesting because we have God consciousness and noble action and God path, so path to godhood, all very much related in definitions, and a very complicated network of runes here. So that's Aryakara Kara Asha We. Aryakara Asha We. My pronunciation is off, but this is the gist of it. This is how you say it in English, and this is the definition, and then this is the sigil, which is a remarkable one indeed. Now, what I'm going to be moving on to is helping myself heal. And I'll be doing this very basic rune word onto a picture of myself. So I'm using red paint, acrylic, and this is photo paper, and I'm going to be using this very thin brush and be pronouncing kinaz, which I'm acknowledging this as Kinaz and Berkana. So I want to say, you can decide which one to draw, whichever one you want to draw first, but I'm going to draw Berkana first. Berkana Kinaz. 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 Healing. Berkana Kinaz. Berkana Kinaz. Opening growth. Berkana Kinaz. Berkana Kinaz. Berkana Kinaz. Berkana. Kana, Kinaz. Berkana 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 Kinaz. Putting that down. And now, to offer towards this union of this rune word, these two runes, in relation to me in particular, I will be blessing the union and giving it life with a clove cigarette. And I will be blowing the smoke upon it. So I won't be filming the whole time that I'm smoking this, but to give you an example, I will be blowing the smoke onto this to solidify the relationship, to instill the protection, and to really enliven what I've just done through an offering that good for all spirits, primordial spirits as well. Clove is very empowering, very protective. It's actually used by many different traditions. Berkana Kinaz. Berkana Kinaz. Berkana Kinaz. Berkana Kinaz. So I will be blowing more smoke on this, but I just wanted to share with you this very simple process of unifying a particular rune word to your being should you need that particular rune word in your life. So you can look up many different online, see which ones work for you. Be careful if you're going to use blood. Know exactly what the rune word is and know how it will affect you before you use your own blood, because it's a very powerful form of this. I'm just using the red paint for now. So I hope that if you have any questions about how I understand any of these rune words or runic sigils, feel free to ask me in the comment section below on YouTube. If you want to recommend some runic sigils to other people on the channel or to me, feel free to do so in the comment section below. And do not forget to take care of your spiritual body, brothers and sisters. Your spiritual life is your responsibility. So take up the runes, empower them in your life, and benefit. Thank you very much, and I hope to see all of you on my channel in the future.